Hello everyone. In this session, we will discuss about the worker node components. So in the previous session, we discussed what are the master components. The master components is like etcd, API server, scheduler, and controller manager. Similarly, Kubernetes worker node. Worker node means where your workload is going to run it. So your container will be hosting or running onto the worker nodes only. So you need container runtime. In this diagram, you can see Docker as the red, kubelet which is agent. So whenever master receive any request, it has to communicate to the uh, worker node. So kubelet is that agent through that master will be communicating it. Then there is a networking component is there, which when we will discuss Kubernetes services, we will discuss about this component, but that is kubeproxy. Let's go. I already explained you what is container runtime. So container runtime in our case is Docker, which is about supposed to run the container lifecycle. Now, kubelet. Kubelet is an agent which that runs in each of your worker node in the cluster. It makes sure that containers are running in the form of pod. So what kubelet do it? Kubelet takes your request, takes a set of pod spec that are provided through various mechanisms and ensure that container described in the pod specs are running and healthy. Kubelet does not manage the container which was not created by Kubernetes. So Kubelet cannot go and manage the container which is created by Docker CLI or any other way. It will not do it. So explanation purpose, if I create a container using Docker run command, then that will not be managed by Kubelet. So Kubelet will only manage the container which is created through Kubernetes. Then comes to the kube proxy. It is a network proxy that runs on uh, each node in your cluster, implementing the part of Kubernetes service concept. So we will discuss in detail what is Kubernetes services and how kube proxy is working it. So it's a in an easy way you can understand kube proxy is the implementation of IP tables, so like set of rules with where the traffic should go, where the traffic should come, how the traffic forwarding will happen, network port forwarding will happen, if any kind of packet manipulation is required, how we'll do it. All this thing is implemented using kubeproxy. So it's maintain the network rule. In network rule, what we do it, if I talk about IP table, we do the filtering, we do the forwarding, and we do the mangle with like packet alterations, which we say. So all this thing we do it under the uh, say IP table. Same implementation we are going to do it using kubeproxy. So the network rules allows network communication to your pod from the network station inside and outside of your cluster. So kubeproxy is very important component and for uh, for sending your traffic from a container to the outside world and receiving from the outside world to your containerized application. Now we know what are the components we are going to set it up. Now what we are going to do it, we will be discussing about a tool called kubeadm and how to set up the cluster using kubeadm. And similarly, further lines, we will discuss about kubectl and what is the kubectl thing, how it works, and what are the things are there. Okay. So in this session, we learn about worker node component. One is container runtime, which will manage the container lifecycle, kubelet, which will be receiving your master request and updating the master what is happening in the worker node. And kubeproxy, it's a networking component which will be taking care of filtering, forwarding, and packet alteration. All these things will be taken care by kubeproxy. Thank you for attending this session. In next session, we will discuss about kubeadm.